open meeting law and videotaped meetings. If your meeting is videotaped, the open meeting law requires you to advise open session meeting attendees as follows. Open session public meetings are subject to being recorded. Your image and your voice may be recorded. I'm Claire Pond, the Personnel Committee, and Sue Terrian from the Personnel Committee, and Kristen Rubin, who's our town administrator, are present. Okay, minutes. Did you have a chance to look at those?
I would like to make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Okay. There being no discussion, all those in favor? Aye. Okay. Approved.
I just lost my pen, but I found it.
Those are the minutes of 11/16, I think, 22. All right. The next item, we're going to do mostly policies, but I just want to run through a couple of things real quick. Were there any PAFs or?
We do actually
there are,
have a couple
okay.
of PAFs.
Great, we'll run through those quick.
So let's see. This is a PAF. Oh, wait a minute. What did I put? Oh, yeah. For some reason, I didn't have June sign this yet, but I will. This is for Richard Baker. Richard Baker is a new part-time call firefighter / EMT.
Oh, great. Thank
On
you.
your way.
Firefighter, call firefighter, EMT. That's great. Let's see. Here you go, you can take a look. All right. Everything looked okay to you?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and I
Like
did
to-
talk to the chief. They don't forward the background checks and when it's public safety.
Right,
because they can-
okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
But I did check to make sure everything was in order with the physicals and
Okay.
And he did have the quarry done.
the quarry.
Do our firefighters?
Is that what we were asking about for him?
No, our firefighters should be having quarries.
I can confirm.
They're going, I know, that's my sticking point, sorry.
No, I can ask.
You don't know, I would thought they all,
I thought so too.
I mean, we generally.
It
I just
very,
wanna-
it very
all
well
town
could have been
employees.
done.
I
and
just want to make
not-
sure that,
Is
you know,
Is it not noted on there? Is
I
there-
didn't see it, but I just wanted to make sure that, you know, I mean, we don't have to know that
Yeah,
what
I'll
it said or
check it
anything,
out.
but I just wanted to make sure that you
Oh, no.
knew.
Yeah, I'll check into it. I'm almost certain, but I just.
Yeah, and if
Okay.
he's
Send
been
out
on
an
another
email.
fire department, he
Yeah.
probably
He
has
is.
it.
He's-
Right.
Yeah.
Just, I think
Okay.
it's for our benefit to,
Sure.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the PAF for Richard Baker, a new part-time firefighter EMT.
second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Okay, 3.
And the other one I have is exciting. This is Christopher Shea, our new patrolman.
Oh,
Who
okay.
has come out of the academy,
Wow.
full-time. So.
Christopher, what was this?
Shea. So
I thought he had a different last name. Because I remember doing the interview. I thought it was
Oh,
Say,
Ledoux.
there's another one that's
Ledoux?
in the academy. There's 2.
There's Jacob.
And this is new. This is Christopher.
Okay.
geez, I wonder if that's,
Wait a minute. Now you have me questioning it. Hold on.
I just,
1965.
Now you've got me. No, he's not. That's not. I am not correct. I apologize. That is.
yeah, this is not the
That is
full-time.
not the academy. You're absolutely right. I'm sorry.
That's
I've
okay.
been buried in policy all
it's
week, so
okay.
I'm like,
That's all right.
It's okay. I'm glad we're all sitting here
So-
together.
thank
That
you.
is
So, hold on.
This is,
per diem police department.
Yes, that would make sense. Police department per diem.
I think it's just, yeah, it says part-time.
you.
part-time. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm just looking here.
Okay.
Yeah, because we did the hold on, the notice to appoint. So let me just
Okay,
look
great.
here. Yes, he is a part-time reserve police officer.
Great.
Part-time reserve, Berlin, yes.
Yes, please catch me whenever that happens. Sometimes
I
these
just-
days go long.
No, you just,
You're like, you're right. Then it's not the name. It's the. And I'm thinking of the guy who just got out, and of course now I can't remember his name, so I'm doing good.
Ledoux.
I'm just wondering if that's Barbara Shea, who was my driving instructor down at,
Oh my word.
I wonder
Back in
if
the
that's
day.
her son.
I don't know.
Wow.
Just wondering.
Small
Anyway,
world
I'd
we
like to
live
make a
in.
motion that we approve that
Oh,
PAF as
yes.
well.
Second.
Okay.
Who signed it?
Correct
All those
position.
in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, approved, beautiful. Great, thanks. So,
That is all I have for
all right,
PAFs this
great.
evening for you.
The next item that I wanted to just talk about was the budget for the Personnel Committee. Last time we put it, I was just gonna put it in for the same amount we put in last year, and it looks like it goes under just other expenses. It doesn't look like it goes,
Because it was for the membership, right?
yeah, it's just for
Yeah.
that
The MMHR membership.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna go with the same amount we put in last year,
How much do you have?
250.
That's, yep, I was just gonna say it should be that.
Yeah, so I just fill this
Don't
out
think
and
they've
then leave it
increased it.
in the accountant's.
Yeah, if you don't
Thing.
want her to yell at you, you better get it in.
Yeah,
there,
I
too.
know, I went through all that stuff last night. I know. I did have a question
Sure.
about
We're just
this,
looking up their dues just to see if
about
they increased them.
there was a thing in here about sick time buyback. Can you tell
Oh,
me
yes.
what that's about?
I certainly can. So, sick time buyback applies to mostly a very few limited number of employees who have been here for a very long period of time.
Okay.
And I think there are like 3
Okay.
employees that it applies to.
Yeah,
So I don't know who well, I shouldn't share anyways, but I don't know who they are.
Okay.
But they fell under an old policy where that was allowed, where they could buy back a certain amount of their sick time that they had banked. And I believe
So
the
does that
police
get
also
paid?
have that in their union contract. They can get
Oh.
it paid out. And I have to check on the PD. But that was the question I had asked June, and she had said that.
even though it's sick time and not
Mhm.
PTO.
Yeah.
Huh,
It's a very old policy, but it applies to a very limited number of employees.
okay, good.
And I believe that number is dwindling.
All right, okay. I
So-
just had never heard of that before,
Yeah,
that's why
so
I,
she was explaining at the budget hearing that, or the budget kickoff meeting, that will not apply to most
right,
departments.
right. And so that's the budget piece, I think I got everything there. And then the next item of business that I wanted to just bring up, the Personnel Committee received a letter last week, I'm sorry, a week and a half ago. No, it's 2 weeks ago now. And I just wasn't sure what, in terms of what the Personnel Committee's responsibility it is when it's a complaint about employees.
So there's a policy for dealing with employees. It's actually in the policy manual we're going to speak about, and I believe it's one of the policies that's already been adopted, because there are a number of those appendices that had been adopted. So
Yeah.
the policy side, I was reading it today, actually. First, this should basically be reported to me. I can discuss
Okay.
it with that individual's immediate
Yep,
supervisor,
okay.
department
All
head,
right.
what it
All
may
right.
be.
Yep,
And then we can address it from there.
Okay,
So
good.
The new town administrator bylaw kind of, and,
Yeah.
I know this always sounds weird to throw the bylaw around, I don't like doing that, but it does give the town administrator that authority to kind of oversee
Right.
anything that could be seen as
Well, I know-
disciplinary or
right,
those types
I
of
know that
things, so.
personnel does not, in terms of any disciplinary nature or any disciplinary action, we typically
Thanks.
have not gotten involved in that, except for when the employee filed for a what was it that we sat in on, that the employee came back to us on?
Well, they had an executive session with the Board of Selectmen, one of them, and asked us to be there. Not that we really did anything,
Right.
but asked us to be
That,
there.
but we had to do that hearing too, remember?
Right, we had a couple that,
Right.
we had another employee that wanted to check on vacation time,
Yeah,
Right,
earned
so-
vacation time. But-
Okay.
And I just think I'm glad she asked the question, because I think it's really important for it to be on camera for
Well,
residents
yeah,
to hear.
There's one
Yeah.
more piece to it
Yeah.
too. I don't mean to.
Okay, no,
interrupt you,
go,
but
go.
Then, so once it would come to me and I would determine which department it is
yep,
a part of, then it depends on which board oversees that department.
Right.
Because the select board does not oversee every department.
Yep.
There's a board of assessors, there's a board of health,
Yep.
there's the library trustees,
Yep.
so, et cetera. So then it would be referred to that particular board.
right,
If the board does, decide to take any type of action, that is held in an executive session that is not open to the public
Okay.
unless the employee requests it to be so.
okay,
The employee does have a right to bring any type of counsel that they'd like. And I would think, as you said, they could request that the personnel committee attend that meeting
Okay.
if they would like.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that authority lies with the select board to make the final, decision on anything disciplinary.
No, I think
Okay.
when, because there is a concern from a resident, I think it's good that they hear that.
right.
Sure.
So I did not get a chance to make a copy of that
Okay.
for you before I came tonight. I had it on my list and forgot it, of course, walked out the door and forgot it. So I will get that to you tonight as soon as we go down here and can make a copy, or I can make, oh, it's
Perfect.
not here anymore.
Oh, yes, we're using the copy machine in the hallway now.
Oh, okay.
But that's okay. I can have Mary
All
make us a
right.
copy too
Okay,
when she
great.
comes back in.
Okay,
So.
great, thank you. So those were my only, did you have anything?
I just have one question, just
Yeah.
to go to my little thing, is, how's Fred doing on getting an admin?
No movement yet.
Okay.
Hopefully soon.
I'm just
We are
gonna
in budget season. Yep, keep asking. It's on the list. We're
I know
really trying to
budget
get
season,
to it.
and I don't want anything to go above budget season.
Yeah,
Let's
but
get
no,
that.
it is on the list and trying to work on it. I did get a draft job description to him. It had a lot more in it than this position would do, so we were starting to whittle it down, and then it kind of got a pin put in it with
Right.
budgets.
With
but
budgets,
Yeah.
but
there was some movement, and there
Good.
will be again.
good, as long as it doesn't we don't want it to get put on the back burner
Oh,
again.
no, it's on my master special list that's on a big sticky stuck to my desk.
Good.
I know that sounds really official, but trust me, that is the Bible, I go by it.
I have one like that. I have one in the barn.
I'm telling you, and I actually keep it on the pad so I don't lose it. You
Yeah.
know, it's right there.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
big list.
No, that's my.
So that's all I really had that we needed to bring up, unless you've got any, position ads
I
or
was
anything?
gonna say,
or-
I had one thing that through the appraisal process was brought to my attention. Molly, the assessor, noted or told me that the job descriptions for the director of assessing and the property lister had not been approved by the personnel board. And I don't know
Here we
if
go
that
again.
is the,
Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that.
oh, that's okay.
So what we've asked for is all the managers to come back to the Personnel Committee with any revisions to the job descriptions that Sandy did for all the managers
Okay.
of all the jobs. So we're just waiting for the amended job descriptions to come from the Board of Assessors office, from Molly. So if she,
These are from July 2020, so I'm guessing something would have perhaps, oh no, edited November 16th, 2022. These are new. Edited November 16th, 2022.
okay.
So I can make more copies. I
Yeah,
just
that would be
wanted to
great,
talk
and
to
then
you
we
'cause I
can
wasn't
take,
sure.
yeah, so we can take a look at them, and we
Perfect.
can you know, for the next meeting and definitely get an approval in there. I'm
Excellent.
sorry, I know that she had come to one of our meetings and we said, this is what the process is, take a look at what Sandy's given you, make whatever, and at the time they had, they were recruiting, oh, Roger's on that board as well. They were recruiting for the Rose's position. She was the administrative assessor there,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so they were recruiting for that, and so they were kind of hanging that out a little bit because they weren't sure exactly what the roles would be between the role of that Joanne Cooper's in, that Molly's in, and that Maureen's now in. So good, if they've got them all done, we're happy to take a look.
She's got those two, so I'll make copies then for
Okay,
the next
great.
meeting, and
Okay, great,
we can take a look.
great,
I hadn't had a chance to actually look at them either, because I just got them.
great. All right, no, I'm sorry if, I'm not sure if were we supposed to go back to the Board of Assessors and let them know? I didn't think so, but that's okay, we'll get that done for her.
Excellent.
Great,
Thank
thanks.
you. Thank you.
And that's it, I think we can start on the policies if
The
you want.
exciting stuff. So what I have for you is a complete policy manual, which I'm very excited about.
Oh, my word.
Mostly because
That's
I
great.
spent the whole week doing it.
What's really
But-
cool is we all have the same one in front of us and we all have the same page number.
Yeah.
You don't realize how many times
Yeah,
we sit.
we've got all these,
Well, don't look at the table of contents, because I ran out of time to update the table of contents.
Right.
But on
No,
your
don't worry about that.
electronic copy,
Yeah.
it's all like
Right.
clickable.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I did get that far,
Good.
but, so let me walk you through kind of, any places that change. So yeah, table of contents is great, because that needs to, this is a clean copy, just so you know, because it had gotten so messy.
Oh,
Yeah.
we know.
Okay, so I sent you all the red line version as well.
Yeah.
And I thought the best thing to do is, I have the red line version here on my computer.
Yeah.
And maybe the best thing is for me to pull that up. You all look at the clean copy so that your eyes don't
Okay,
go crossed. And I will walk you through the changes. And I literally stuck to what was in this
yep,
guide that was put together that was great. So basically, the first page, all the little tiny word changes were made, with the exception under the whistleblower protection policy, that Appendix J.
I just-
Oh, sorry, do you guys have this still? This is,
I don't.
this, we can look on together,
oh, okay, perfect.
yeah.
It was something like this, right? This is what I'm looking at right here. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I just don't have it read.
Oh,
Okay, I got it.
So, under Appendix J, that whistleblower protection policy, there's the last paragraph that's bolded out in red.
Yeah.
That was duplicative. It was already actually in there, and if you look above, you can see it, to first raise it with the town administrator, department head, or appropriate government agency. So, I
Yeah.
don't know if it just didn't get deleted,
Yep.
but it's in there. So, the other changes were made on this page. That paragraph was just struck because it was duplicative.
Okay, Appendix J.
On the next page, possession or use was added to the consumption of controlled substances as requested. In the attendance policy, punctuality and habitual tardiness was added as requested. Let's see. So the
Yep.
additional citations that are all here for additional information, visit, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
conflict of in- Those were all added.
Yep, that was important.
Yep. And then under solicitations, I made those minor Scribner's changes.
Down here.
Under town property, I added that paragraph.
Yeah, look at this. We're still doing it. Yep,
I
okay.
know, I'm trying to get you off of this, and we'll move on to the clean one shortly.
Great,
But,
yeah, no, that makes sense, thank you.
oh, sure. The severe weather closings, made those minor corrections. And then, as is noted at the bottom, appendices L, M, N, and O are already
Right.
reviewed.
Yep.
So those were all set. I updated P and Q and T, and we'll go through those. And then the good news is, this review and update's still needed. Most of what's here was actually in the back part of the manual. It just needed to be reviewed and updated. So that's where I spent most of my time kind of going through everything.
Okay,
So, you know, the first 4 pages of this is really just little minor edits.
Yeah.
The
Right.
meat of what we're talking about is really now, under these review and updates, still needed. So I included the performance improvement plan
put that.
that we discussed. And I
Oh,
made-
yes, yes,
Yep,
yep.
so that's now Appendix B. If you want to take a peek at that.
Okay,
Appendix, say that one more time?
B as in boy.
B, thank you.
Yes. So it's actually page 61.
yep.
Oh my word, we can all go to the same page.
That's why I thank you for giving me the extra couple of minutes. I was like, it's gonna be worth it.
Yes.
So I made, based on the changes that we discussed at the last meeting, I added some extra space.
Yep,
I put in this 30-day, 45, 60-day, like we talked about, with a department head signature and an employee signature. And making sure there's places, you know, for both of them to sign during the checkups. And I
Yep.
see there's a little,
great.
I get to be like really perfectionistic when it comes to formatting. It's like a little bit of a problem. So I see things, I have to go and fix them. It's
Good,
one,
I
it's one
know,
of my like little things.
No, but that's great, good.
So that's in there, nothing substantive, just adding the signatures. And we discussed, I believe, if I'm correct, doing 30, 45, 60-day performance improvement plans.
Yep,
So I put those timelines in there. And then under timeline for improvement, consequences, and expectations, change that to 60 days because that's the range, is up to 60 days for the PIP. I think it's kind of important to have that standardized time frame
Yeah.
because before it was giving you the leeway of like, well, do you go 75 days? Do you go 90 days?
We don't need that.
That's getting too out there, I feel
Right,
like,
and-
for addressing issues. And you can always do another one if need be.
okay.
You know, if you say, well, he hasn't had a chance to, I don't know, mow because it's winter.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
Right.
you can always modify it if
Yeah.
need be. So that's why I kind of stuck with the 30, 45, 60.
You've seen some progress, but you just want to keep tabs on.
Sure.
You can say it nicely. too.
Sure. Exactly. Sorry, that was just a random
No, I'm
example.
kidding.
I don't know anyone who's not mowing.
I told you it's one of those days.
Trust me, it is. You get a little punchy when you
So
spend
that's
lots of time
done.
formatting.
That's done.
So that was the
You know, but that's
appendix.
kind of cathartic too.
You know what's funny? It
I
had
love
its
doing-
cathartic moments, and then when the formatting got really wonky, I went, ah, and then Mary heard me singing in my office earlier
I
this
love that.
afternoon, and then I got back into the groove,
Yeah,
and then I was doing
yeah.
good. So.
That's great, good,
Yeah.
thank you.
And I will, there's, as you get into the appendices, they do need to still be cleaned up a little bit, but
Mhm.
at least everything's in
Yeah,
there. So,
okay.
and then under the personnel records, the education and training.
Right,
Believe it or not, I found that in the back too.
you did,
Yeah,
okay.
which was really exciting. So now I just don't remember which page it's on here. So
Okay,
give me a
that's
second here. Recruitment, I think I thought it was in the front. Yep, page 9.
Okay, great.
So I basically took
Training.
what we had in there before, did not make a whole lot of changes to
In
it.
the old,
In the
oh,
old
good,
one.
okay, all right.
Yes.
That was a goal that we were
Yep.
gonna try and do.
So this is literally excerpted, these first 2 paragraphs are excerpted from the policy. I had a question about the reimbursement being
Yeah,
at
I ju-
500 per course.
Oh, okay,
And then I kept in there the training compliance that was added on the town's record management policy. But I don't know of training that we offer on the town's record management policy. So I'm not sure where that came from. That was in there already. In fact, that
Yeah.
was the only thing under training before I
Yeah.
added the first 2 paragraphs. So, I mean, I don't even know, does it have a records management policy? I don't think it does.
I don't think.
I mean, we follow public records guidelines from the state. So I almost feel like that last paragraph doesn't need to be in there, but I kept it in case you all knew something I didn't know.
Don't know what that is.
I'd like to not force people through unnecessary training when we have a guide from the state
The
on public
state's
records
doing it.
retention.
I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if, when those original, way back when, were written,
The state hadn't.
the state hadn't done it, or we were
Perhaps.
still small enough that somebody had to go and really understand the management records.
Yep, okay, that would make sense.
Because those original ones they were very old.
Okay, yeah, and they've updated it recently, like
Right.
within the past couple of years.
So I wouldn't be surprised.
Actually, no, I think it was this year. We got a new one from Ellie.
Yeah, let's,
Now, do we want this to say anything about certifications as well, or are we considering that training? And, because some of those might be a pass-fail, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
So
why
that's what I
thinking-
I wasn't sure on that. And the other thing that I just wanted to bring up, it says the town may require the employee to sign an agreement to remain with the town for a period of up to, do we want to say 2 years, or do we want to say 1 year?
I think,
2,
well,
sorry.
But I know that in my former job, I used to require, say it is 2 years, or it was 1 year, we prorated that. So if they stayed 6 months, they only had to, if we put a year there, say it's 2 years and they stay for a year, they would only have to reimburse us half of the expense. So I don't know,
Reimburse the town for
I
the-
thought 2 was a little high.
I,
That's just me though, because it's not like it used to be, Sue, where everybody stayed at a company for a long time.
nobody stays,
I know.
but it's also a lot of,
A lot
I
of-
mean,
Yeah.
not to pick on a department,
Right.
but it's a lot to put those policemen through
Yep.
the
Yeah.
academy.
Right, but this is not their contract.
Oh, that's true. This isn't them. But what
This
about
is
the bridge?
non-union.
What about the bridge for the part-timers?
they're still in the union. Part-timers are in
Okay.
the police union.
Okay, as long as I'm just,
Oh, it's fair. It's a fair question. What if we kind of split it and said, like you were saying, 2 years upon reimbursement, or if 1 year, pay 50% or something
Yeah,
like that?
we always, I always prorated
Yeah.
it, even by the month, honestly. So if we put 1 year there and a person stayed 7 months, I'd reimburse them, or would be expected to be reimbursed for at least 5, prorated. I always tried to figure it out that way. But
Or I
are
should
you
probably-
comfortable with it?
Yeah,
being
no, I'm
You say 1
comfortable.
year or less.
1
I'm
year?
comfortable, because I'm remembering that,
Yeah.
you reminded me that their contract, they're
Yeah.
union, so it doesn't matter anyways.
Yeah, let's say 1 year.
I hope it's in their contract that they have to stay a certain amount of time, but that's not
to
us.
1 year, or else be willing to reimburse the town for the funds.
Let's see. Approvals. Okay, so this is actually really specifically referring to school as opposed to certifications, it sounds
Right,
like. So we
right.
probably need to,
So, training and education, it needs to include some certification.
yep,
Mhm.
uh,
training. So we need to put, okay, so I can work on that. Put
Right.
Something relative to certifications in there. Yeah,
Yep.
let me rework that one a little bit.
I couldn't remember if we had that, and I pulled out here it is right here, I put a sticky in there. Project. No, I don't see it in this one either, the old one,
I
like you
think it was
said.
like chapter 13.
Yep.
It's weird.
Yeah,
These
yeah, it's
weird
right
things
here.
stick out in my mind
Yep.
sometimes.
Yeah, no, there is nothing in there about certification.
I was like, I said 13 and weird noises
That
happen.
was
It's not
scary.
Halloween anymore,
Something's
right?
coming from the ceiling. Okay, yeah, certification, I think that has to be in there.
All right, let me rework
Add
that
sort of-
one up a little bit. At
Great.
least we have a spot for it and
Yeah.
we can
And then you're just
Beautiful.
gonna get rid of that last paragraph about,
Yeah, I'm just gonna strike that. And
Yep.
then I don't know if we should put a limited amount because you already say it's subject to department approval and approval by the personnel committee and sufficient municipal funds. Some department, like if you're talking about like a certification, for example, procurement training. Procurement training is $600 for the first 2 classes and $700 for the last one.
Right.
And that's a real basic,
Yeah.
you know, I know there was interest perhaps on the CPA side of getting some training there. So I'm wondering if you just take out that dollar amount and it's just subject to departmental personnel and, you know.
Does personnel have to, I don't.
Oh, did I
Here
read
we
that?
go,
I'm
wait a
sorry.
minute. Approval, in order to qualify, must have the recommendation of the department supervisor and approval of, that should be, don't you think, it's an approval of the personnel committee? Shouldn't that be town administrator?
I
Yeah.
actually think it probably
Yeah.
should,
I
yeah.
think it
Yeah.
should be you.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
And then we'll work on the dollar amount and maybe just take that out and do,
I'd be comfortable if you took out the dollar amount. So it's actually more of a discussion between you and the department supervisor.
Yeah, because one of the things that you brought up in terms of your working with the department managers, you asked them for their goals
Yes.
and this and that. And, you know, also we got to think about people taking over positions when other people retire, you know,
That's true.
and the only way that people can get educated is to take some classes, and if we can help in that way, shape or form at all, that would be, I think it's wonderful. And I do know that we have a limited amount, but you would be, if it's all coming to you,
Mhm.
you would be able to kind of keep, you know, your arms around it and see how much we're spending on that.
Absolutely. And, you know, that to me, adding training would be a supplemental funding request as we instituted in the budget process this
Yeah.
year. So that would get called out through FinCom, through the select board, and then ultimately rolled into the budget that gets approved at town meeting.
Yeah.
So, you know, there are a lot of eyes on it.
Good, okay. All right, I'm good with that.
All right. So that is B, personnel records, education and
done.
training. And then sick leave, I've got an FMLA policy. So first I updated it to say immediate family, to give the definition of immediate family. And let me find where the FMLA policy is. Gets a little bit further.
Because most of this is,
It's under
Section 5, right?
page 35.
Oh, perfect.
but most of that
Faster
was
than me.
approved, right, already?
Yeah.
Okay.
It
We
was,
just- We just had questions about the immediate.
Are we okay that it's like double A's,
Oh, no, why did it do that? Oh, all right, I'm gonna have to fix that.
So
Where
it
did it start
seems like
doing
it's
that?
only in that section, after page 31.
Ah. Okay.
But it does go from, if you look at page 28, it goes from A to V to W to X, Y,
That's so
Z.
weird. Why did it do that? Okay, yep, so we'll fix.
So just keep an
we'll fix
eye on that.
Yeah, perfect.
So,
Apparently wanted to give me double letters. Yeah, so this is actually not the policy, this is just the
Oh.
summary up front.
Yep,
So
the
what I
poli-
added was the last sentence
Appendix
under
C.
E, Family Medical Leave Act. It says immediate family is defined as spouse, domestic partner, child, stepchild, foster child, or parent with serious health condition.
yep,
The town's full FMLA policy is set forth in Appendix C.
beautiful, okay.
And then Appendix C had already been approved.
Yeah.
That was one of the, so the only problem with that is I can't specifically change this policy unless we want to have it reapproved. So I didn't touch it because it had already been approved.
Right.
And if you look on page 64, about halfway down the page, it says immediate family member, spouse, child, or parent, which was the issue we were trying to kind of correct, to make it more clear who it actually applies to.
Right.
The town will grant.
I mean, I'm kind of wondering too, this whole thing's gonna go to the select board. Do we have them like bless the whole thing again? Or is that too much? Is that a bad idea? I don't know, I'm just throwing out ideas.
I think they're probably gonna say, what's the part we already went
Right,
through?
right.
And they're gonna say, okay, we're gonna
Right.
skip that part.
So on appendix C, you said, let me see, the town will grant an,
So maybe we could just fix that and tell them that's one change to appendix C
Mhm.
and
Right.
and throw that in there.
And it's
Okay.
policy, they just have to, they're the ones that have to say yay or nay.
Right, I just don't want it to be, you know, an employee goes, looks at appendix C, makes one determination, and we say, oh, no,
Yeah, we
you're
need it-
wrong, because it's written differently up front.
And
So
that's-
that needs to be consistent.
We've been having, that's the old problem.
so I want to see.
Don't want any of that.
So
So we'll fix that.
sick leave is under, I thought it was under section E, but if you look in this, in our booklet on page 34, it's in section D.
No.
Well, these aren't the attachments, these are just the, these aren't the appendices.
Right, but I didn't think that was in appendices, under leave benefits, section E,
Mhm.
sick leave. Oh, look at that.
Oh, that box, you mean, the Massachusetts law?
Yeah, look on this here that she
Mhm.
gave us,
Yeah.
that we needed to work on. Here it says E, sick leave, but E is FMLA here.
Yeah, I don't know
and
why.
D is sick leave.
Oh, you know why? Because of the A, paid holidays.
Yep.
And then vacation should be B,
Okay,
and then personal leave should be C.
yep,
Does
that would
fix
make
this?
sense, yep.
D, E, that
Yep,
makes sick leave E,
perfect,
that's why, okay.
So, on that sick leave,
Yep,
let's see. So one of the concerns that the Personnel Committee had was that in the former policies, there was it stated that you could use your sick time for taking care of your family instead of for yourself, instead of for your own serious health condition.
only if you're qualified for FMLA, and that is part of FMLA.
Right, but to use your sick leave.
Mhm.
So a sick leave is for the person if they're sick.
It's also to care for an immediate family member
Yeah.
if they're ill, that's allowed under FMLA.
So,
So that's a federal policy.
right, it's a federal policy, but employers are not required. Since FMLA started in administering the leave of absences for the companies that I work for, we've never permitted our employees to use their sick time to take care of other people.
Right, you have to permit them to leave, but you can decide how to pay them.
Right,
They either
right.
don't have to, you can say they use their sick, they use their vacation, and this actually
Yeah.
addressed it. In the policy, it talked about using 50%, the town requires employees to take 50% of accrued vacation leave at the beginning of family leave grant if family leave is granted to permit the employee to care for a newborn child, a child that the employee has adopted, or will be providing foster care, or a child, spouse, or parent with a serious health condition. So that's on page 65. That's part of the one you've already
Okay.
adopted.
Right, I remember going through
65.
that.
Yeah, so, okay, so
I
that's
think
on
you're-
page 65, so why isn't that, I don't know why we put E here then, that's what I'm trying to figure out, because
Oh.
I didn't see it there.
Because it only referred, if you look on page 64,
Yep,
under the second bullet,
okay,
it just says spouse, child, parent, and you all wanted it expanded out to say spouse, domestic partner, children, stepchildren, foster children, and parents. So I fixed that in the front, but I couldn't fix it in the back unless we're on the same page because that had already been approved.
Okay, family-
I fixed it in the narrative portion up front, but the
Okay, I'm lost.
appendix,
I'm
I would have
lost.
to change.
Okay.
Okay, I'm lost.
Did I lose?
So, yeah,
Okay, so if you go to page, let's see, where are we at? Sick time, where is sick time in the
30,
front?
we started on 34.
Yeah, so on page 34,
yep,
I'm sorry, page 35.
5.
yep,
If you look at the last part of that FMLA paragraph, it says immediate family is defined as.
yep.
So
That
the
covers the
definition
law.
was broadened.
That's the,
That's what the point of this was. It says need language regarding the sick leave, including the definition of immediate family. And it's given,
Yep.
spouse, domestic partner, children, stepchildren, foster children, and parents living in the employee's household. So that was added.
so where is that?
That's the last sentence of the FMLA paragraph on page 35.
Okay. Spouse,
Yep.
domestic partner, child, stepchild, foster child, or parent. Period.
So the.
With a serious health, don't
Right.
just say a parent, it's gotta be
right.
with a,
Right, with a serious health condition, okay.
And then that maximum of 5 days of the annual sick leave, when I read that paragraph that I just read to you about the vacation leave, I thought that that addressed that.
Mhm.
So if I'm wrong.
So where is
let me know.
that?
that was
That
the one.
is on
60.
65.
Okay.
Yep, and that, because I remember all of us really going through that
Yes, we did.
paragraph
and
5
we-
million times.
We thought, yeah, and we thought that,
And I didn't touch Appendix C at all.
where we would permit there to be like a,
Yeah, they had to use,
I mean, if you'd like, I would argue that child covers foster child, stepchild. It doesn't say by birth child.
no, that's okay.
The only
We can-
issue is
yeah.
domestic partner is not in there.
Requires
And it doesn't
domestic-
say that the parents have to be living in the household. So those two I would think you'd want to
I s-
correct.
Okay, so can,
yes.
I'm just not seeing at all the information about the maximum of 5 days of employees' total sick leave may be taken.
Right, because I
So where is
felt
that?
that that was addressed at the top of page 65.
Okay,
Where it talked about the town may choose to require the accrued leave. I can't, or I couldn't change Appendix C, I didn't touch it because it had been approved. So,
okay.
Right.
and then the next paragraph addresses the 50% of accrued vacation that you were talking about. I didn't frankly really understand
50%
the
of
maximum
any
5
accrued.
days.
I don't, okay,
Because if an employee has
they shouldn't be
3
able
weeks of
to,
sick time, why
right.
can't they use all of it?
to care for their own serious health condition, yes,
Yeah.
but not to care for our family members.
Okay.
It's their sick time, it's not sick time to be used to be out of work caring for somebody else, because they're
Well,
not
it
sick.
has to meet the definition of a serious medical condition under the legal definition of FMLA.
Right.
It can't just be like,
Right.
you know, my mom's got bronchitis or whatever. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's got to be like very serious things.
I
I mean, and this does
in
address
all of my
the
career, I've
vacation.
never heard of that, never heard
Okay.
of anybody being able to use their sick time to care for somebody else.
Yeah, so in all the 4 municipalities I've worked in, that's allowed under
Yeah,
the FMLA policy.
I just,
But it does have to meet a specific definition of what a serious health condition is, and you have to have a certification by
And
a
you have to have
doctor.
certification.
Yeah, there's actually like a
Because-
6-page form that has to be filled out. It has to come back to the town. We have to approve it.
Okay, because you can see that this could actually be really taken
So-
advantage of.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
it has to be approved
It
by
has to
us.
be, this could be really
well, I
putting us in
just,
trouble.
You also have to have worked for the town for a year and have worked at least 1,250 hours. So you're guaranteed up to 12 weeks unpaid. And then at the top, you can also take it intermittently. And then at the top of page 65, that's where it was talking about.
So why, I guess, so either the town requires the use of accrued leave during a leave or they don't.
Right.
So it says the town may choose. So
I've seen it up to the town's
I just worry,
discretion.
yeah, right. So Sue Terrian's going to take her time off and we're not going to require her. She can stay on the health insurance and everything. That's not a problem.
But then she wouldn't be paid.
Right. But Claire Pond, when she takes hers, we're going to make her use her time. So that's the only thing I'm worried about,
Oh, you don't
Kristen.
want it to say at discretion of. You want it
Right.
to be,
Right. Just even listening to that sick time buyback, only a few people get that because it was a special arrangement.
Well,
I
it
thought
was
we
a
wanted
old
to try and
policy.
get
yeah,
rid of.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
so you just
more
want,
than that.
I want to see some consistency. I want to see,
Okay.
I just,
I mean, I can tell you the way I'm used to doing it, the way that my policy was written in Leicester.
Yeah.
You used your sick time first, then you used your vacation time. And that was the way that it, and
So-
everybody had, you can actually require employees to use their leave,
right,
which I think in some ways is better because A, the employee gets paid, but B, there's an incentive to come back sooner because they're not going to use up all of their leave.
right. Well, then the issue then becomes it's more work for everybody because they got to bill for or invoice people for their benefits while they're out. So who does that?
So they're already automatically in the system for benefits, so it just continues on a monthly basis. Because they're still on the books as an employee.
Right, exactly. But how do we get the money from them? To pay for their deduction.
Oh, to pay for their deduction. Oh, I see
If
what you're
they're
saying.
not getting paid.
Yep.
So that's why,
that was June's.
that's why
That was
the-
one of June's concerns.
right, that's why most employers require the person to use their accrued leave when they go out. And,
Yep,
you know,
so they make
absolutely,
arrangements with
if
the
it's for
office
their
to pay it.
own, if it's for their own serious health condition, absolutely, use up your sick time and then use up your vacation time afterwards. But if it's to care for another seriously ill family member, I don't know, should that person be able to use all that sick time that they have saved to care for somebody else? I just have never heard of that. That's why we made the decision as a committee that the 5 days of the employee's total annual sick leave accrual, a maximum of 5 days would be able to use to care for a family member.
Okay. That's not in the Appendix C that was approved, so that's the only thing that was confusing to me. Because
Okay.
that had already been approved, the FMLA
Right,
policy.
and this was brought to us afterwards that they had forgot it. It was
Okay.
completely out of there. So basically,
So that
the
should-
way the Appendix C reads right now, nobody would be able to use any sick time at all for their family members, if they're out for their family members.
It says they can take up to 50% of accrued vacation leave
Right,
pursuant to the act.
Right.
If family leave is granted.
right, but no
So you
sick
want to
leave.
change that. Oh, okay. Or, so it would be up to 50% of accrued vacation or 5 days.
Right,
of-
because we wanted to not move too far in one direction, because the employees had that previously
Okay, I gotcha. Okay.
on Appendix C, right, we're talking about?
We can add that in, and then just have them reapprove. It's Appendix C.
Well, they're gonna have to reapprove, no matter what, they're gonna have to look at the entire
Right,
handbook
That's what I was
and
kind of-
reapprove it. We just needed this done for,
Sue, what are your, I mean, I don't want to
No,
overstep my bounds
I've got it. The only
here.
thing I do totally agree with you is I have a problem with the may choose to require.
Yeah, I kind of don't like the way that's written either.
I don't like that sentence.
I actually, the way it was written in our FMLA policy was the employee may choose to use their leave or they may take it unpaid. Now, that's an option, doesn't have to be our option, but that is one.
Yeah, but even the one that,
But we shouldn't
So,
be requiring different things for
The
different
hard
people.
part with that too is, and I'll just put this out there, is when if we put the employee may choose, so they go out on their leave and they're out for their 12 weeks and they don't use any time. So now they have 200 hours of sick time on the books.
Mm.
They've got 4 weeks of vacation on the books. July 1st, I get a raise. So all that goes up 2.5% all those hours.
Mm.
So the liability that the town had for all that PTO, paid time off, whether it be vacation, holiday, sick, that was at $10 or say $20 is now at 20 plus 2.5%.
Well, also, they almost get twice the benefit, if you will, in terms of time. So the way we did it was you were required to use up all of your leave before you could take unpaid leave. And if
Right.
you'd like, I can pull that
Yeah,
language from our policy in Leicester
Yeah.
and let you guys take a look at
Yeah.
it for the next time
Yeah,
and see if
that'd be
that's something
great.
you like.
Yeah, that'd be great, because we want to do the right thing for the employees, of course, but at the same time, I get concerned if they're taking unpaid leave, and then all that sits there, and they come back to work, they work for 3 weeks, they get a raise on July 1st, and then, oh yeah, by the way, Kristen, I can't stay, I'm gonna leave, all that needs to be paid out to them.
Right, there's that issue for sure, which I
Mhm.
completely agree with you, but there's also the fact too that say you take 12 weeks unpaid, and like you said, then you've got 4 weeks of vacation, you come back and then you leave for a month, and then you've got to find coverage for another month.
Right,
So
right.
I kind of see that
Yeah.
side of it too.
So let's.
So you want to be
let's-
fair.
Yeah, so let's look at that. We want to
Okay.
make sure that we're working with the employees and everything and, for
Perfect.
any kind of leave. And,
Alright.
and on the family side, if you're caring for a family
Yep.
member, that's why
Add the
we
5
didn't.
days in there.
Right, we didn't want to change that completely because before they could,
Okay.
I think, use all their time.
Right. And no, that's very helpful. I think I wasn't quite understanding it at first, but now that
Does
you've
that
explained
sound
it,
right?
No,
that
that's-
makes sense.
All right,
Let me work something.
okay,
work
all
something
right.
for you.
I hope you don't mind us jumping in.
No,
I just,
I like
all
this.
these things that.
I hope you don't mind me jumping in and
No,
kind of kicking it around with
perfect.
you. It's good.
Good,
I like
good,
it.
it's good. And what was the next thing? So,
So anything else on this one? Like I said, I didn't change anything in this, and the only thing I changed on 35 was that last sentence,
yep,
Which I would
good,
need-
that looks good.
which I
That
need to
had-
update on 64.
Yep, okay. And then,
Good, okay.
So the next one then would be Appendix R, which is way in the back.
yep,
Did we get to R? Hold
I have
on.
to do my.
no, I think it's.
I think that might number or
it's
letter
section R.
changed. Oh, that's section R, that's why, okay.
And then,
That would make more sense. Section R, yes, prevention of discrimination, I remember reading this.
it's on, where is it? Page 42? No, that's
No,
open meeting law.
That's the double Rs.
Some of the formatting got a little wonky at parts,
That's
so I
okay.
may have
That's okay.
written over
Prevention
something,
of
there's a possibility.
discrimination, it's Appendix L, but there's also,
A reference
here it is,
to it.
okay, page 45.
45, okay.
Triple Cs. What the heck? I
You
know.
know what's funny? When it showed up on my screen, it looked
probably was.
fine.
I know.
Wow.
Don't worry.
All right.
We found it. We found
I
it.
just like the fact we could all say a page and we
Yep.
can all go to it.
Yep.
Hey, triple numbers, double numbers, yeah, we're all right.
Oh, okay, here we go.
All it takes is just one backspace, putting something in, then hitting the return button, and next thing you know, the whole thing.
Yeah, I know. Isn't
redoes
that
itself.
funny? It's just like, yeah, and I was having trouble too because it didn't want to go back to A in each section, so I
Yep.
was having to go in and manually, I was having to make it go back to A, so then I think it just got all
So
confused.
the town promotes him.
So, let's see. Prevention of discrimination and harassment in the workplace. Oh, that
Yep.
should be-
Any further?
So this looked fine to me. It's
Good.
an excerpt from Appendix L,
Yep,
which is the recently approved, one of the recently approved policies.
policies,
So
yep.
I wasn't really sure if that was maybe an old note that got left on there,
So let's see, L,
or you all wanted something else changed.
let's see. So we want to look at Appendix
Where's
L.
Appendix L?
Yeah, because she sent that out to us separately, so I think we went through that separately.
I do too. I think
Okay.
we've already done,
Yeah, because I didn't touch anything. It looked like it was.
I'm
complete.
trying to think if there was a question on
Appendix.
Here we go.
Okay.
91.
something else
Okay,
about it, though.
But that's drug and,
Oh,
yep.
uh-oh.
So
Oh, right, because it's M.
LM, okay. So we just got to change that to M.
Right.
Well, we got to figure that out because okay, Appendix
is
B
M.
is now the PIP. So
Right.
there wasn't anything in there. but-
Oh, that's probably what happened, is the PIP cut in.
Yeah,
The PIP came in, but if you look in the little box on the sheet, the Appendix L is crossed out and there's an M written in there, and Appendix M is crossed out and there's an N written in there. So
It's okay.
maybe that's what the change was, just to relabel.
okay, here's Appendix M.
Was there
And was there anything in
something-
there that you?
I read it and I thought it looked comprehensive and acceptable.
Yeah, we better keep talking because the lights are flickering.
Oh, yeah, there is one thing I just saw, though, I didn't fill in on page 98. The information
really?
needs to be filled in, so I'll fix that of who to call.
Was
What?
there a question, not that we had to put it in,
Let me see.
but something about, at present, the sexual
Jackie.
harassment officers
Let's see.
are a select board member
Oh.
and
Do
another.
you remember that? Oh,
Wow.
my word.
Right now, it's a select board member and then an employee. And I'm wondering.
Really?
Yes.
Usually it's the town administrator.
That's what I'm trying to get at, is do we
Okay.
want to make, was that one of the questions that we had, as it should really be,
Oh, this says town administrator. in it,
okay, so we
actually.
did address it, thank you.
On 98.
No,
if an
thank you.
employee
I just
believes
wanted to
they're
make sure
subject to
that-
it, they report to the TA, and that's one of the places I need to fill in the contact information for me.
Okay.
And I don't believe we have a town nurse, so that should come out.
Right, no, I'm just, I know that was a discussion, so
Is
I'm
that the
trying to,
wind or the rain?
it's both, that's why I'm saying, folks.
Is that like a lightning flash or a light flickering? I wasn't really sure. I'm the one closest to the window. All right. So that is in there.
Yeah.
Everything else in there looked
And then
completely
it gets into
appropriate.
the complaints of unlawful harassment, sexual harassment and/or discrimination. So it gets into that.
Talks about, contacting 911, the police, what have you. Department heads and supers, so the way that this one ends on 106 is that department heads and supervisors are responsible for receiving reports of this, and those reports have to be submitted to the town administrator. So I think the chain of command is listed correctly in here.
So that's for the workplace violence prevention one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so the last paragraph on page 106, item
Okay.
10.
And we still have, we have in here the anti-harassment and/or discrimination complaint form and report.
Yep.
Okay. So the anti-harassment and discrimination policy, employee acknowledgement of receipt, perfect.
And those would be updated in the pre-employment packages that go out
Perfect.
with both sides all policies.
That went down the wrong way.
You okay?
Oh, I took it, Brad.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
I hate that.
it felt like it was just dust balls.
Oh, no.
So that's good. So, and then,
This looks great.
and
The computer things.
then it looks like the last but not least, okay, discipline, let's see. Oh, the computer technology thing is still with the IT people, right?
So I actually reached out to Travis today, and
Okay.
to make it simple, I just cut and paste that part into a blank Word doc and
Great.
said,
Okay, can you take a
can you
look?
just take a look and tell me if there's anything Berlin specific that needs to be updated in this?
Okay.
So hopefully I'll hear back from
Good.
him
Oh, good.
shortly. Yeah, because I missed the town's IT
Yeah,
contractor
discipline
part, so
dispute
he's
resolution.
on that. And then, let's see, I looked at the mobile devices provided by the town section. It said it needed to be looked at. I didn't see, I don't think any specific issues, but let me get to that page. Where's that, section 5? Section 7. Section 7, that's in the front, I think.
Appendix P.
Ah, here we go. Starts on the bottom of page 46.
Okay.
So, yeah, oh, this is where we get, there's triple things in here too.
Okay.
And then talked about, where was the cell phone piece? Mobile devices provided by the town.
Section 11.
So much. I don't know why I don't see that.
I know, the people are gonna come in and see that they have to read this and say, forget it.
I think that's why you pushed most of the things to the appendices
Yes.
with a small summary in the front. That's really smart.
Yeah. Yep, oh, on page, it's on page 54.
Oh, you're very good at finding these. I should remember, but my head's now spinning with formatting. Oh, there we go. Mobile devices provided by the town. So the only thing that I would think to add here is, and I just thought of this, we did have an incident where an employee was out of country trying to do work on their cell phone.
Oh,
Ooh,
But like legitimately and honestly
Right.
trying to take care of some town business,
Yeah.
and got a bit of a sticker shock charge.
Mm.
So I'm thinking that should actually be added in there, that, you know, cannot be used out of the country without prior approval, and a daily rate being set up with
Uh-huh.
the cell provider,
Yeah.
something to
Mhm.
that effect.
Oh, that can do
oh
a
my
job on
word,
you.
who would have thought of that, huh?
And the person was just so
Mortified.
flabbergasted
Yeah.
and mortified, because they were like, oh my gosh, I was just trying to do my,
No, I
I was
can-
trying to do my
Right.
work.
When my
And
husband
it
would
was
travel.
a North American country.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, you know, they
Right.
went to Brazil and were
Right.
like, okay, let me, you know, go way away on a
Mm.
tropical vacation. It was,
Yeah.
you know, just went and visited
Wow.
some relatives.
No, when my
and-
husband would travel, he would call and just say, yep, hello, I'm okay, bye.
I know, it's hard.
Because some of those other country bills are just
Wow.
outrageous.
So I'll put something in about, that was the only thing I really thought of on this, unless there was something else that
No, there
you all-
wasn't really.
I think this is great. But I can't believe
We're
how much,
almost there,
do you know how much we've done on this thing?
we're
I
almost
was
there.
gonna,
I'm
this is
so-
a
We're almost
huge
there.
undertaking. I
We're
mean,
almost there.
You guys are so close. That's
Well,
why I was like, let's just
Thanks
push it
to
across the
you,
finish
and
line.
thanks to
Oh,
Margaret
I
and
did very
June,
little
and
compared to
all
all
the
of you.
typing, and
Oh, yeah.
a lot. But it probably makes sense for you guys when you brought your laptops and stuff to, you know, that helped a lot.
It absolutely does.
Because I think we're gonna have to give this to the select board, and it's not something they're gonna do
Right,
Right.
in a week.
yeah. So
So, and I'm
then,
sure they'll have some feedback, and then we'll incorporate that, and, you know.
so discipline, are we done with that one?
Yes, we are. I think so, unless you.
So right on the same page, on page 54, we start with the discipline dispute resolution, and then it gets into the discipline piece. I think we had gone through this, and any of our notes that we had on that, I think we already gave,
Yeah, this,
right.
It references the Town Administrator Act, so it seemed
Right.
very
Yeah.
up-to-date and
Yeah.
current.
Yep,
And we made sure to put that in there.
Yep.
and.
So I think that might have just been a straggler leftover one.
Yep. And then that keeps going, then it talks about the employee grievance and dispute resolution. And I think we were okay with that. Just make sure that we have the town administrator piece in there for that too.
Okay, right. Yep, so the town, this says they have to go to their department head, then they have 7 days. If that fails to be resolved to their employee satisfaction, they go to the TA.
Yep.
14 days after that, they can go to personnel.
Okay,
And then within 30 days, they can go to the select board.
okay. Okay. And it's very rare that anything would ever go that far.
Yeah, that, and I do have to say, if it were, and there are obviously some instances where you might have to do an executive session with, if it's depending on the seriousness of the matter.
Yeah,
You know, and the only thing that worried me about this, I guess this is employee grievance, and I'm trying to think of the section that's on there's the progressive discipline. Okay, so it does say the right to use any or none of the measures at the discretion of the town administrator. I just want to make sure you weren't boxed into having to go oral written. You obviously want to go that way when it's smaller things, but if someone steals something, that's grounds for immediate
Right,
termination.
oh,
So I just didn't,
absolutely,
I want
right,
to make sure we weren't
right.
boxed in.
remember we had that, did have, there was a suspension.
Right, or putting someone on paid administrative leave while you're investigating something.
It was already all investigated, pretty
Ah.
much. The fire department,
I was-
before union,
Yep.
before the union.
Oh, the driver.
Yes,
No, yes, you need to give me some little clues once in a
yeah,
while.
yeah,
The driver.
yes, yes.
Yep.
And everything turned out fine
Yep.
afterwards, you
Yep.
know, brought the person back. and-
Everything was good.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yep. So there was a suspension, and we did have an executive session, and he did give us his thoughts, and we brought our thoughts as a committee to the chief and talked with the chief about it, and it worked out well. It was almost like a compromise with the personnel committee and the chief as to, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of them too, the few that we've had, we've learned more about problems in communication.
Right,
And that's,
So
I think that's
critical.
important is, you know, they can come in and they can sit down and talk with us, and it's not that we're telling you're bad, you've got to,
Right.
you discipline, you did this. But we can say, wait a minute, you know, you just said this person isn't following policies, but you don't have policies written down. So, you know, you as a department or as a board have to get that for them. So I think that's what we've seen more than.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I think that was something in that one too. There was something that wasn't written down that we both kind of, or Tommy was with us then, and all three of us kind of said, you know.
Well, and I think the nice thing too in having a town administrator, preferably one who has some HR background, is that that person can often sit down when it's at a low level, if it's a communication issue, and just try to mediate that dispute. Because like you said, in all the issues I've encountered, I would say 90% of them just come down to people either not agreeing, getting too hot,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and you have to
Yeah.
build that consensus. It's such a huge part of the job.
yeah.
So, you know, that could be something I definitely spend time doing.
Good.
Have before, do
Good.
here, we'll
Good.
continue to do.
Aw.
No, it is. It's
It's
the
a huge part of
communication
the
thing.
job.
It's just,
On Appendix A, the recruitment procedures.
Yes.
One of the things, it's on page 59.
59, okay.
One of the things I wanted to ask about that is, now, the CBAs that we have, like the police and the fire, do they have specific language in there that speaks to, okay, for instance, internal recruitment efforts? Do they have specific language about, in those CBAs, about how long the posting should go? There should be internal recruitment efforts.
I can check.
Vacant positions shall be posted for 7 days, blah, blah, blah. So if there is, I'm wondering if we need to have something for the non-union as well, just something similar to, so that it gives the
Okay.
opportunity for non-union folks to be able to, for an internal recruitment effort, that the position will be posted in-house for 7 days. And then, and I don't want it to deter the recruitment effort. That's the hard part. I'm thinking more along the lines of that there'll be lots of people that want it, and you want to give the internal applicants the first chance at it. But you tell us how that worked in your former. Do you remember?
Yeah, so we kind of had it set up where you could do internal or external for some positions if there's no one in-house
Okay.
to fill it, say
yeah.
a department head position
Yeah.
and you just
Oh,
don't have
yes.
the skills
Yeah.
or what have
Yeah.
you. We would post, but if it was an internal position where we thought we would have candidates, we'd post for 5 days.
Okay.
And we'd have them submit a resume and a cover letter.
Yeah.
And we would review those resumes, we'd do interviews, and we would hope to make an internal promotion,
Yeah.
because I
Right.
think succession planning
Yeah.
is really important,
Yeah.
and being able to give employees that are motivated that opportunity to learn and grow, because that also builds your retention
Yeah.
within an organization. And I think you address it a little bit in here on 59.
Yeah.
You're talking about the town does attempt to fill all vacancies by promoting current qualified employees.
Yep.
So that may have you covered there. It says if a vacant position can't be filled from a promotion from within,
Yep.
you view all. So
Okay.
you can do both. And I have actually done them concurrently.
Okay.
I have posted it internally and externally, and I kind of like the way that it's written here, because it sort of allows you to not slow the recruitment down by posting it both ways,
Right,
but
right.
by giving the
But-
priority to
yeah,
the internal
But
candidate.
that's what I just didn't want to deter, because with the recruitment nowadays, it's not like it used to be, when you used to put up a position and there'd be a zillion, what was it, what position was it that we got tons of applicants for? I can't even remember. I posted an HR position in my department. I was director at the time. I got over 140 applicants.
Yeah. Isn't that
140 applicants for one 40-hour position. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So, gone are those
They
days.
are, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We had a similar experience.
But if you think that these will work
I-
for the way you, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
I'm comfortable with it. If you want anything
Good.
tweaked, let me know, though. I'm
Yep.
happy to.
No, I did read through it.
I think that it's important too, and the nice thing about it being a smaller community is you get to know the employees as well, so you can kind of see who's motivated and who
Mhm.
wants to grow,
Mhm.
and you really kind of
Yep.
have that. I always kind of have that in my mind too, like, ooh, who could go there?
So I think this is generic enough that, that we should be pretty good. I mean, I think that we should be able to meet the criteria, but also it gives you a little wiggle room as well.
Yep, I think so.
Yep.
I think that makes sense. And to be able to do them both at the same time, so that way, if there isn't anybody internally interested, it doesn't slow down the recruitment as a whole.
Right.
And the only other thing that we wanted to do, that we wanted to see done, and it doesn't have to be within this procedure manual, it can be separate,
Okay.
is a checklist for recruitment and a checklist for separation, like a little checkoff sheet. Somehow, some way. The PAF took a good portion of that,
Mm-hmm.
and if you think that that meets everything, but just to make sure that the applicant or the new hire has gone through all these things, like a checklist, received employee policy manual, received the sexual harassment and signed off, the sexual harassment policy and signed off.
Yep. I like that.
workplace viol, like a checklist
Yeah.
of all the things that you have to do for a new hire.
Yep.
And then the checklist for all the things you have to do for a separation from the organization. I
Yeah,
kind of,
I actually have
those seem to
one.
help me
Yep.
in my job.
Yep, checklist for new hire and for separation. I know I have a good one for new hire.
Oh, good.
I have probably less of a good one for separation, but I can work on that.
But that just includes like
Shutting
to
down their computer.
right, and getting their keys and getting
Getting
their
equipment.
cell phone and all that stuff, and laptop or what have you.
But that doesn't have to be done until after budget season.
Right, exactly, exactly.
I was gonna say, because budgets were due
Yeah.
today, so starting tomorrow, it's gonna be like.
No, we're not
all
even
budgets
asking
So
on.
that,
Just-
that's kind of a wish list.
No,
Put
I
that on
think
your
that's-
sticky note.
That's great. And then in terms of what is left in here, if I'm not mistaken, we have the training on page 9, the certificate, add the
Yeah,
certification.
yeah,
We have the FMLA
yeah,
Mhm.
and the IT policy.
yep, that's it.
That's
Is
it.
that it?
That's, no, you don't really,
Close.
you haven't been
Yeah.
here for 3 years. Oh,
Oh.
please, let's get this going.
It's really well done. I really didn't have many changes because everything was well written. It made sense. And it seems to follow policies that I'm familiar with. So I
Good.
think it's great.
Good, good. And, down the road, at least this gives us the other one was great and it worked for so many people for so long, but it really needed to be updated. There wasn't even FMLA language in there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so,
Perfect.
This is great,
Okay,
Kristen. Thank you.
Oh, no, so you got it.
anything else? Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make the motion to adjourn.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.